Good afternoon. My name is John Martin, and I'm here with Allison Flero. We're glad to welcome you to our What's New webinar this afternoon, What's New in the Dialog Insight marketing platform. We have quite a few things to cover today, ranging from conversion funnels to how to target contacts based on pages or products viewed, some enhancements to our opt-in form presentation and web interceptors, as well as a new look in some of our message tools and our image library. There's a few other things we'll mention closer to the end that might help those of you with integration questions or installations. And we're very proud of these new features, so we're looking forward to sharing them with you. As always, we are recording today, so if you do have questions or you want a copy of the presentation when we're done, it will be sent to you. And if you do have questions, you can reach me at jmartin@dialoginsight.com, or you can reach Allison at aflero@dialoginsight.com. In any case, like always, Allison is going to do the heavy lifting today, and we're going to be demoing in the platform, not looking at PowerPoint. So this is some of these features are new to us too, so please be patient with our navigation, but we're going to dive right in. Allison?
Thanks, John. So we've improved the message creation interface to make creating messages easier. Just going to click on create a message here. Now you still have the options to create a message from your templates, from Dialog Insight templates, or from a blank message, but we've added some filtering options to make template selection easier. So if you select My Templates, you can sort by creation date or name. If you select Dialog Insight templates, you can sort by drag and drop, responsive, query, or content database. You can also sort by language, so English or French. So let's take a look at the coffee shop template. I'm going to click the magnifying glass to do a preview. So we've added this preview feature to give you an approximation of what the template will look like on desktop or mobile. So this is the desktop version, and I can click on mobile up here. This is just a preview of the template itself. Once your email is all set up, you can also run a litmus test, which will show you how your message will look over multiple platforms. Now the next step is to select the template. Then select a communication type and click continue, so you can get in and edit the message. Another thing to note is that you no longer need to give the name in the first step. So now that I'm in the message edit area, I can still edit the name of the message by clicking on this pencil up here and changing it. Click save. Okay, so the next upgrade is in the image library section. You'll notice that we now have nice thumbnails of the hosted images instead of a list of the image names. And then if you click on these four arrows up here, a new window is going to pop up with more options. You still have the option to sort by creation date, to sort by or search by name, search by category, and now you can also see, you can change the display mode. So you can change it back to that list mode if you like that, or you can look at small, medium, or large images. And if you select an actual image, you can now change the name of the file by clicking on this pencil. You can see the date it was created. You can see the weight of the message and the dimensions, and if a category was given, you can also see the name of the category that it's in. On the right hand side, you can click on this little eye and it'll give you a preview of the full size of the message. You can click to, I'm sorry, thank you. You can click to edit the image as well, and then you can add text or change the size. You can replace the image. You can change the image category. You can get the URL of the hosted image, download the image, or delete the image. One thing that already existed but not a lot of people are aware is that you can also drag and drop images from your computer to upload them in this section. So that's everything for the image library section.
Thank you. We talked a little bit about consent management tools and some of the enhancements we've made to forms there. Just as a little bit of a refresher, under C28 or the Canadian Castle Law, we have the concept of implied consent as well as explicit consent. Implied consent expires, and although we've had an email pop-up to help people with consent, what we've done is we've added to the flexibility of that to tie it to the implied consent date, such that you can present a pop-up in your emails when it is time for a client or a contact to renew, that implied consent. So we'll take a look at what that presentation menu looks like.
Right. So we've added an option to intercept only if the consent expires within X amount of days. So to set it up, you go to Configuration, Consents, and then in this table in the interceptor column, you click on the pencil for one of your interceptors to edit. And normally we will intercept all contacts with no status for the selected opt-ins, but we've added the function to intercept contacts whose implied consent expires within X amount of days or less.
Yeah.
And then we've also enhanced our marketing automation interface to make it easier to see what's...
Actually, just another word on interceptors, if you don't mind. Interceptors are a very charming way to renew consent or request consent. They are far more effective than emails designed for the same purposes. So in terms of managing your contacts and making sure you always have consent, you'll get a lot better results using the interceptors, and your account managers here at Dialog Insight would be happy to help you with that.
Thanks. So next, we've also enhanced our marketing automation interface to make it easier to see what's happening in your scenario. Before on this page, we had a simple list by name, but now we can see the launch type of the scenario, so whether it's manual or a recurring automated process. We can see the name of the scenario, the category. We can see the next execution date, and you can see these lines here. This one, sorry, it's going by the color of the color I have selected in my system. So I have it on orange. I'll just switch it over to green. You can see it's green, so that means it's active. This one here is gray, so that means it's not active. If it was red, then that would mean there was an error. Now we also added some stats on this page, so you can see from this point 25 contacts have entered this scenario and 0 are in process, and 48% of contacts have reached a successful end. So I'll just click to get inside. Okay, so if we take a look at the inside, there's a new summary page. On the left-hand side, we see the same information as the previous page. And then on the right, you can see the branches of the scenario and where the contacts are in the process. You can see that 25 contacts have entered at the start, then they proceed to the first query, which is language. So if they're French, they go up. If they're English, then they move down along this line. And then the next query here is whether they're a member or not. So members move up and receive one more message to end on a success, and non-members move down and end in neutral. So the 48% success rate here is calculated on all 4 of my endpoints in my scenario.
This kind of visualization can give you an idea as to just how many of your contacts are going through which branches of your marketing automation scenarios. Marketing automation is something we can cover off with you in another session, so we didn't go into too much on how you would set up those questions, but your account manager can certainly help you with that, and this kind of visualization will give you some added insight as to how to make those scenarios more meaningful, more successful for you.
Right. So at each point where the contact receives a message, you can hover over and see the message results, or if you click on the message icon, it brings you to the message results page in the project. Or if you click on the number of contacts you see here, it will bring you to the list of contacts that made it to that point. And for those of you who are not familiar with this interface, these are all rules that you can configure yourself. You can decide who sees the message, when, at what branch they take, and you can define if the end is success, failure, or neutral. So those are all of the updates for the marketing automation for now, but more are coming.
Yeah, and one just quick add-on to that, you can also decide what initiates a marketing automation, whether it's something you trigger manually or whether it's something that's run, based on a query in your contact profile. The simple example of a query to a contact profile might be a birth date to send a birthday greeting. But as we go further with some of the features today, you'll see how more activity is available that you can use to trigger marketing automations. So just kind of keep that in mind, and we'll show you a little bit more going forward. Next, we wanted to talk a little bit about, a few new tools, but just to back up a minute, we've had the Journey module for a little while now, and the next few features we're going to talk about leverage the Journey module to help you make more sense out of what's going on and tracking activity. So just a quick little refresher, there's a separate course or webinar available on Journey, or your account manager could work with you. But what it does is it allows you to identify a website or a URL, and then we can generate some code, a little bit of code specific to that URL that you can put on your website, and then we can add the web traffic activity to a contact profile. So that's the foundation of the next few things that we're going to talk about in terms of some of our latest features. So I think Allison is going to start with the web interceptor. It's got some common ground with your interceptor we talked about earlier, but this one is for web visitors, not people who are receiving an email.
All right. Actually, I'm going to start with the e-commerce extensions. So first, Journey, we've put everything that has to do with Journey in its own menu now. So to configure Journey, you go to Journey, Configuration, and add a site. And this is going to give you a snippet of code. Now this code needs to be placed on your site to enable you to follow along the contact's journey on your website. Now down at the bottom we have some e-commerce extensions that can be added to track transactional and cart info. We just added the option for tracking viewed products. So this extension is a script that needs to be added to the product page when we'll get the product number, and we will register it in the contacts product relational table. Once we have the data, you'll be able to make a group to find contacts that visited a specific product, a group of products, or a product category. So right now this works with a script, but soon we will have another upgrade which will allow us to decode the products through the URL. So for example, if you're on a site like Best Buy, you'll notice that product URLs follow a very precise path. And with that precise path, we will be able to pull the product information into the relational table. This will be this is very useful for sites that have a lot of products, or where products are updated regularly and you don't want to have to change the code every time your products change. So let's just quickly go into the group section to take a look at a group for product views. So here's a group I made for product views. And you can see now you can add criteria for contacts who viewed a certain product on the site that you're following. So that's everything for product views, but there are more upgrades that are related to Journey, like the web intercept. So when you create a form that is hosted on the Dialog Insight platform, we now give you additional presentation options, including a web intercept. What we had before was an intercept that asked if contacts wanted to subscribe, and there was a link that brought the contacts to a subscription form on a different page. So with this feature upgrade, we can now display the form directly in the pop-up. So let's go to Journey, Interceptors, and we'll take a look at the opt-in form. So first you need to define the rules for the interception: when, who, and how often people will get intercepted. Then click on Continue and select the type of interceptor. So in today's example, we're looking at the form option. So I'm going to click Continue again. And now I have a list of available forms that I've already created and published in the project. So you just have to select the form you want to use, and then you see it appear here on the right-hand side. This is the desktop preview, and I can also preview in mobile. Now the interceptor has a default width of 650 pixels, but it can be adjusted, and it will also adjust for mobile like you see here. Now that everything has been set, I need to publish the interceptor. And on this page, I can test to see how the interceptor will look on my website. And I can also decide on or set when it will be displayed on the site. So when the interception will occur. And that's it for interceptors.
Did you I might have missed this, Allison, sorry. Did you show them the preview between the web page and the mobile view for the form? Yes, on the edit page. Perfect. Sorry, my mind wandered for a moment there, but those previews are useful to see, what the interceptor is going to look like on a mobile device. Going forward, we have a few more things to talk about. We're going to look next at something called webhooks. Webhooks are, we're not going to look at webhooks, we're going to look at the funnel. I should look at my notes more often, shouldn't I? The Journey module, another configuration we've added on top of it, will allow you to identify steps on your web page and then use those steps to create a funnel to better understand how your contacts or new contacts are navigating on your web page. So anyway, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. Go ahead, Allison.
Okay, so once again, this feature is related to Journey. The script needs to be on your site before you can create a conversion funnel. So if you go to Journey Funnels, you'll see this page. Now on this page you can see I have two funnels. In this version there are 70 contacts and I have a 42% success rate. So let's click inside to see how it's set up. Okay, so my funnel has 4 steps: homepage, products, personalization, and contact us. I can put a maximum of 5 steps or a minimum of 2 steps. And so I can add one more step here to make it 5. I need to give the step a name and then either enter a URL to be followed or specify an event to track from an existing list of events in this drop-down menu. An event can be created or an event can be a white paper download or a request for a demo or other activities identified in your project. Note that to be able to specify an event, you must have them configured in your application first. So please feel free to contact your account manager for help with this. I'm just going to delete my last step there. So once the conversion funnel has been set, you can click Continue to see the conversion rate and the steps followed by your contacts to perform a task. So it's just calculating. Now the shape of the funnel lets you quickly see which steps in the process are more effective and those that need to be improved. And you can act on these results to reduce abandoned or unsuccessful journeys. Now, an example of a conversion funnel for an e-commerce site could start with a product that's placed into a shopping cart and end with the confirmation of the order. So the conversion funnels here could allow you to see where visitors abandon the most and work to improve that step. Now, by default, we're looking at the last 6 months, but you can change that time frame. And note that it is retroactive, so if Journey has been installed on your site all along, you will be able to see the stats that have accumulated in that time. And you can also add demographics. So with this drop-down menu here. First, we have the ones from the platform, but all of the fields in your contacts profiles are eligible. You just have to set that up ahead of time. Now each total is clickable, so even if let's say we'll go to month. Here you can see my pointer turns to a finger, so anytime you see that happening, you can click in to see the list of the contacts. And you can also come back and adjust the funnel and it will adjust the results accordingly. Now you can make as many funnels as you like, so there's a limit to the amount of steps. You can only have 5 steps, but no limit to the amount of funnels you have in your project. Now the idea is to quickly see if your strategies for your web and email campaigns are successful. You can also start to use these results to your advantage and, for example, set up an automated marketing scenario for contacts that have made it to step 4 of your funnel. Basically, you'll be able to quickly act on the data that you collect on your emails and web campaigns.
Excellent. This is an exciting visualization for the Journey module. It's one thing to be able to track Journey activity in a contact profile. You can of course still do that, but we think the funnel will give a much more meaningful view of what's happening on your website, and it will provide a bridge to use your website and email functionality together. So here we are in the webhooks that I started to talk about a minute ago. Webhooks are a way of sending information on changes and activity, inside of the Dialog Insight marketing platform to an external system. There are lots of options for this. An idea of an external system might be your own CRM or other internal systems. So in this way, we're trying to give you more of a 360-degree view of what your contacts are doing. So Allison is going to discuss some of the options. It's a little on the technical side, but we're happy to help you if you want to investigate this feature, more thoroughly.
Yes. So to configure webhooks, you go to Configuration and then Webhooks. And I have one created, so I'm just going to open it up. It might be easier to explain that way. The first thing you need to do is define the URL of the page where you want to receive the information. So it's a page that needs to be created on your site, and it's going to collect the data that is sent from Dialog Insight, from the Dialog Insight platform, and update your database. Then check the boxes beside the data that you want to receive once the contact has been created. So for messages, do you want Dialog Insight to send you the delivery errors or production errors? And you can filter that information by communication type or sending type. For contacts, do you want to receive a notification when the contact is created, updated, opted in, or opted out of communication, if they were put in quarantine or gave a spam complaint? And if we look at the example of code here, so you'll see that this is the type of the data that's sent. That's why it's a little more technical and does take someone a little more advanced to be able to set this up on your side. It contains all of the fields from your project and some of the data about the type of webhook. Now at the end, you can also set up an alert to a user if there is an error, like maybe, for example, the URL no longer exists. Maybe someone on your side didn't realize what the page was for and deleted it. Also note that webhooks can be deactivated if there are errors too often. And you can make one webhook that handles all, or you can make multiple webhooks. It's up to you. And that's all for webhooks.
Okay. The next couple things that we have to talk about don't really have much in the way of a user interface to show you a demo of. Like I've been saying all along, your account manager can help you with more details. But just to give you an idea, the user permissions in the Dialog Insight marketing platform are very granular. And you can set them up so that some users can have access to the functionality that they need, and senior users can have access to more overall functions. So that's been there for a little while now. What we've done is we've extended that so that you can add other attributes to deciding on how to deploy the permissions to the platform. And an example I'll use is a business with a number of lines of business, or perhaps a business with multiple branches. You want each branch to have a certain amount of autonomy over what they do with the platform, but you don't necessarily want to grant them privileges to look into the overall enterprise use of the platform. So in this way, we can now help you establish those permissions in a way to grant attributes that will give people the functionality that they need, perhaps at a branch level or a line of business level, and reserve those senior enterprise level accesses for other users. So just bear that in mind, that we're going to continue to invest a little bit in that and enhance our ability to let users get the permissions they need to get their job done. The other one that we have, the other new thing that we're quite proud of, and a little bit on the new side for us, is an SMTP relay. So SMTP is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, and it's the tool that we all use every day to send emails from either Outlook or Gmail or whatever you use as your email client. You use an SMTP relay to send those messages. What we've added is the ability to pick up those messages or communicate with those client sending tools to allow you to double check things like consent permissions, from within the marketing platform, in order to, make sure that the individuals that are sending those messages have the right to send those messages. Of course, this also lets us pick up that activity and perhaps track it in the platform and, do other things with it. So again, not much of a user interface in the way of showing you how that works, but the SMTP relay is available, and we'd be happy to talk to anyone interested about how to, manage the client side of your, enterprise email activity or business email activity. I think that's all we had today. I'm not sure, just a quick look if there's any questions.
There is one question. Did you develop the Intercept form to be keyboard accessible? I'm not completely confident on the answer to that, so I'm going to find out and follow up with the person who asked.
That would be wonderful. Thank you. If there are any other questions, again, my email is jmartin@dialoginsight.com, and Allison's is aflero@dialoginsight.com. We're very proud to be working with all of you, and we want to thank you for your time today. We hope you like the new features. Let us know what your feedback is. Thank you very much, and have a great afternoon.